There's only one thing Tony Soprano wouldn't eat, and it's a 98-pound mole on Ginny Sacramone's ass. Damn it, they got removed. It was a great wee joke for Ralph, but here, should he really be making a joke like that about the New York top man? Well, one of the top men for New York?
Probably not there. We know how sensitive these guys can get, especially if you're a made man.
Yeah, you're a made man, you can't say. But what can John do?
Can't punch him, can he?
No, he can't punch. It's a no for John. It's a no show. Welcome back to the Sopranos. Great times. It's season 4, episode 2. We love this show, absolutely. And we're going to get stuck straight into
Meadow, no show, Europe, or will she go against her parents' demands? Well, that's still what we're talking about here. Meadow wants to go to Europe. Carmela isn't happy. She keeps discussing how Meadow is pretty much a failure these days. She's not doing anything. She's not leaving her bed. Anytime you see Meadow, she's on the phone talking about gossip to... We don't even know who she's talking to
Misty.
be honest.
We'll go with Misty. That's who she wants to go to Europe
I think it might be Misty, but we don't really know. Anytime Carmela calls her out on her bullshit and for being lazy and for basically throwing her life and her education away, Meadow brings up Jackie Aprile Jr. because that's like the card. That's the go-to card now. If you're failing in life, that's like her race card, essentially.
Jackie Aprile Jr.
Why are you sucking in life? It's because I'm black. No, it's because the Jackie Aprile Jr.'s dead. So that's what Meadow. That's her get out of jail card here, and it's getting old. All right,
it's 2
I'm
episodes
sick of
in.
seeing it. Anthony Jr.'s the one that's got hope for this family now.
He's fucking retarded, like, but he's alright.
Meadow's the one that's just turned into a bum, lying in bed, not doing anything.
But she goes to the psychiatrist, who then questions if Tony or Carmela molested her as a child, which I think, right, for a psychiatrist is a pretty extreme comment to make, especially about someone who's only that age.
Well, I mean, what do you mean that age? She's an adult.
Oh no, she's what, 18, 19, I believe?
19, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's an investigation where this question has to be asked. I mean, it's a pretty strong question to ask from a psychiatrist.
I wonder how Tony would react if he knew this question was being asked.
I think he finds it in a wee later episode, but I can't recall correctly. But Meadow, she says, obviously, I don't think so. I mean, obviously she fucking knows they haven't, and she's coming up with those lines.
Yeah, what kind of question? That's almost like I have, but I'm too afraid to tell you.
Aye, sort of deal.
Sort of deal.
The psychiatrist tells her, why don't you go to Europe? Then she returns to her bed, and then she reveals to Tony and Carmela that, here, she told me to go to Europe, and then Tony's like, you fucking go! And then she's like, you're pussying around it. Dad, Mr. Mob Boss over here. And then Tony goes for the loving father to Tony Soprano, I'm the mob boss here.
Yeah, but he shot it. I thought he was going to do something. He
got in her face, and I think he gave her a glimpse of, like, here, yeah, I'm a garbage man, but this is who I really fucking am.
I know, but I don't know if it's the gender thing, but you could argue it's even worse because AJ is younger. But I think if AJ said this, he'd have been smacked into next week.
Yeah, he's not going to hit his daughter. He cares more for his daughter than AJ.
But
AJ's like the black sheep.
But AJ's a kid.
Of a 2-sheep herd.
No, but what's worse?
Hitting AJ? I know, but it's just more...
How?
I know.
I think you could make a case it's actually worse, because AJ's clearly a few years younger. And he's already smacked AJ about before in earlier seasons.
I know, but it's always looked upon you can hit boys. You can't really hit girls, can you?
Why not?
That's just the world we live in.
No, she's a woman.
Well, I think if she hit his last fucking bit of gabagool, he might have smacked her shit back to
Or she killed one of the ducks.
Aye.
She went duck shooting or something, pigeon shooting.
Aye.
I just think if AJ said this, he'd have been going to the freezer to get an ice bag.
Aye.
I think he had a wee black eye or something.
He would have been, but
Bada bing, bada boom, right hook to the tomb.
she starts crying, and Tony's like, all right, and then she just leaves. It's kind of a bit. He went half Tony. He didn't go full Tony.
I thought he was going to say, look, I killed your wee fucking junkie boyfriend, and if you keep talking like this, you'll be next.
You know, I think Tony did care about Jackie Aprile. He does point out here, like, he cared about him, but it's almost like...
Hold on, if he cared about him, he could have given him a second chance. There was no reason for him to kill Jackie Aprile. He could have basically gave him the whole, you're out, I never want to see your face here again.
I think he simply cared about him in a sense of, I gave a promise to his old man, rather than, but I actually cared about the guy. He cared about his dad, obviously Jackie Aprile, but here, Jackie Aprile's dead. I don't really want to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about the birthday party for Albert Baresi. Tony is there. Ralph makes the joke about the £95. I said 98, doesn't really matter when you've got a mole that fucking size being removed from her ass. Of course, it's a funny joke here. Everyone's laughing. Again, Tony, who doesn't like Ralph, could have very easily shot this joke down.
True, but Ralph's a big earner, supposedly.
Construction.
In a time where nobody's earning money, so I mean, Tony needs this guy.
He hates Ralph, though. Patsy and Little Polly, who's Little Polly's nephew, they bring up a problem here that Ralphie's making a lot of money and that Polly needs a couple of the jobs. And he's like, all right, then, I'll give him 2 jobs. Then Silvio's like, I need to spice it up a bit.
What, am I wrong in thinking why Ralphie owes Polly anything?
It's because he's in jail, and they think.
So how many jobs is Silvio giving him?
But he's not in the construction.
What's Tony giving him?
Fucking hee-haw.
So why is Ralph being the one that's...
I don't know, because Ralphie's the guy that'd be able to dish out jobs.
No, but the way they're talking, you're going to give him 5 jobs and 2 no-shows, and one of them's for... What the fuck are they talking about here?
It's not explained very well, isn't it? No?
It's just a load of shite.
It would be easier if it was explained in money.
It's just talking, it's like, to us talk G's. They're talking about jobs and no-shows. What's a no-show? And why is Ralph the one out of pocket? Who cares if he's got construction work?
They agree on 5, right? 3 no-works and 2 no-shows, whatever the fuck that means.
Surely if Polly needs money, then shouldn't they all go the same amount? Shouldn't it be like a group thing?
But see, I think...
Where they all chip in?
I think 3 no-works is like when they go to work but don't work, and I think 2 no-shows is like a job where you no-show. I think that's... See the way they were sitting around the site? I think that's a no-show. I think a no-work... No, I think when they're sitting there doing nothing's a no work, but I think when they actually don't go is a no show, because that would make sense.
It makes no sense to me.
Anyway, Silvio announces here that Tony wants Christopher as an acting capo, so he gets his wings, so to speak. He gets the...
Yeah, he's went from made man to capo relatively quick.
Patsy's not impressed about this, because obviously he's like 60 and Christopher's, Christopher's probably like, late 20s at this point, I believe.
Did he think he should have been there?
Yeah, but Patsy used to be in Junior's crew. So why would a guy
Yeah, surely Tony's going to show loyalty to one of his own.
Yeah. He then jokes Chris about he should get his hair like Polly's to have like the wing-like hair. Haha. But then he appears at the construction site. We're introduced to a few I believe we've already seen Benny before at this point. Yeah, we have. But we've got big fat Fito there. They're enjoying their no-work jobs where they don't do anything. They notice, though, some valuable fibre optic cables lying around. Oh, Chris, they mention it to Chris that he apparently gives Patsy a look that's to say, steal it, Chris, and sell it. So Patsy steals it. This causes a bit of problem with Tony, and then he calls in Chris. He completely bashes him, like, what the fuck are you doing? This is like a multi-million-dollar job, and you're stealing cables that go for peanuts. Right. My problem with this is, it's like, this is everyone under Tony. It's not just Chris. Yeah, you put Chris in charge of this, but we've seen later on the episode where Chris told Patsy to back off, and he's like, if I was a carpenter, yada, 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 that speech. Silvio then gives Patsy the go-ahead to steal tiles, and then that's when Chris gets pissed off. We have a bit of a confrontation at the construction site. Who do you think's in the right about this?
I think Chris.
Yeah, but he's the one that wanted to steal the cables initially. Like, why is any of them stealing cables?
Well, I don't think anyone's really in the right.
No, they're not. I agree with Tony. I agreed with Tony, right, until Silvio showed up at his door. And he's like, well, how much did you make? 30 grand. He's like, give him my way then. So he's alright with the stealing as long as he gets the money.
As long as it benefits him?
Nah, it's all fucking garbage to me, man, at the end of the day. It's just filler.
Tony has privileges that the others don't.
Little Polly tells Polly about the joke, and obviously he's probably going to relay that back to the main man, Johnny Sack, isn't he? And then pretty much the rest here, Tony finds Ralph's shoe at Janice's place, and he starts greeting about it. What they do. And then pretty much the rest that happens in this episode is to do with Adriana and her friend Danielle. We're at the club here, and because Chris has got his hand on Danielle, Danielle freaks out.
Danielle freaks out. Well, she claimed that Chris claims that she...
Do you want to put VAR? Who's at fault?
Well, to be honest, like, if there's 3 people in that sort of situation, like, I mean... Well, what? I don't know what Adriana's expecting. Like, why is she allowing that to happen in the first place?
If she doesn't want that to happen, she should be in the middle.
Why is she allowing her hanging on her boyfriend's arm just like this so-called friend is? And then he's talking about how he's going to be a rapper and pimp them out and whatnot. I mean, this clearly didn't look like a boyfriend, girlfriend and third wheel. It looked like some guy that was just looking for the attention here of 2 women. So I don't know why she's acting all surprised that maybe Chris put his hands on her or she put her hands on him. You could clearly see it was leading that way.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So he essentially cuts ties with Danielle. Danielle then gets called into the FBI office, right? She has to pretty much explain what happened. And then it's like, right, do we give up on 5 months of work? Do we put someone else in the picture? I don't think Adriana's that stupid to fall for another friend. So they decide to call her in.
Yeah, I know. I see this whole Danielle. I think it would have been better if they'd never... It was a secret and they revealed that she was like a FBI agent later down the line.
We knew the whole time.
But I think the fact that they tell you from the get-go...
And it's only lasted a couple of episodes.
I think it could have been after this. I think this could have been the first time they reveal it. Where after Danielle gets basically kicked out, then it's revealed that she works for the FBI. But they basically tell you right at the beginning of season 4 that she's an FBI informant and that
we knew last season she was as well.
So it's like I don't know. I just think they've done a poor job of this.
They call her in, right, and they've literally nothing against Adriana apart from the fact she uses her own coke, which is like, yeah, you know what? It's like a misdemeanor. People do drugs all the time.
Well, they said it's 20 years.
Yeah, no, but they're saying that to scare her. If they're saying this to Chris, he's like, where's my lawyer? But obviously Adriana, being the dumb blonde that she is, fucking thinks this is the end of the world. And they're like, what's going to happen when Tony Soprano finds out that you've brought an undercover agent into his house? And then at that point, she throws up over the table, throws up everyone. The dog runs away. The dog's pissed his pants. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's it for this episode. It does not look good for Adriana. What do you think will happen?
Oh, well, she'll probably give them information now, I think.
Even though there's nothing... Like, she could easily just go
back. This is like a Juice moment. Where they didn't really have fuck all on her.
Yeah.
Like, see if she goes and tells the truth to Chris, I think this thing can be resolved. I think Chris would be like, it's okay, she doesn't have anything on us.
Yeah.
Maybe tell Tony, he'd probably be pissed off. But I think the direction it's probably going to go in now is she's actually going to start feeding them information.
I think the best case scenario is that she tells Chris, but he doesn't tell Tony. Tony doesn't really need to know.
No, even if she told Chris would probably just be like, he would know that it's not a major deal. Obviously, it's not great, but he would probably know, look, well, at least we've found out now and she didn't get any vital information.
Yeah. So...
And they're not rats or anything like that.
But I think this was the show contradicts itself. Like, they've already got rats at the table. Like Ray Curto. So what information's he bringing them that Adriana needs to get?
Yeah, surely
like he's a capo?
He's going to know. He's going to fucking know more.
Syl was a capo, alright, didn't give them much information, but there's so many other rats.
Well, yeah, what good is that?
That's where I think this show's fucking retarded, though.
Like, see if they had nobody on the inside, then you could argue that having Adriana is a big deal. Yeah. But all Adriana's going to do is relay any information she gets for Chris.
Yep.
But Chris is only an acting capo, and like you say, they've already got people that are captos on the inside.
I get it, right? See if you build your strongest possible case. Obviously, that's the best case scenario, but I don't understand what's the point of getting another one. Like, surely at this point with that Raymond guy, who I don't know how long he's been a rat, but it's been a pretty decent time. Can you not tell him enough information? Who knows, guys? But I'm going to give this episode another 5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 for me. Didn't think it was as good as not that the premiere was good. I just thought it was a wee bit worse than the premiere. Again, just not a lot happening here. It feels like filler.
Filler. Anyway, guys, it's a no show. Up next is Christopher.
See, Silvio. I think the character's fucking shit. I think he's just a middleman that relays information to Tony.
The scene with him and Tony was like weird.
See out of Tony's captains, I honestly don't know how Big Sal can't be the best. Or considered...
In terms of character, yeah. Obviously, you rat it, so he's not the best captain per se.
But I mean, in terms of I would say Silvio's probably the worst.
Well, Silvio's the consigliere, he's not a captain.
He's supposed to be the right-hand man.
Aye, he's the sergeant.
That's better than a captain, isn't it?
Aye, pretty much, yeah.
No, but in terms of what does he do, storyline-wise? What's he do?
Fucking nada.
Where's the story? But I think Paulie's had things to do. I think Paulie's had storylines.
Yeah.
Even Silvio... No, so even Furio feels more important than Silvio. Feels more relevant.
What is he these days, Big Furio? Doing much?
He's not doing much, but what's Silvio ever done?
Nothing.
Even at those meetings, it's like Silvio is standing right next to Tony, and Tony's like, yo, tell him, Sil. and then Silvio will just say a couple of words that Tony could have easily said.
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, guys, we're getting a 5 out of 10. We're back next time for Christopher Columbus episode. It's considered the worst episode of the show. That shall be fun. Till next time, peace.